gentlemen, as soon as we get the green light. Okay, I call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for Springfield Township. And as is our practice, we're going to begin our meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Price, will you call the roll?
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
I'm here.
Mr. DeLauro?
Present.
We have several items of business, and I'm going to jump into them. First of all, I'm going to move to dispense with reading of minutes for prior meetings and approve those minutes to date.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
Next, I move to approve payment of bills and payroll as prepared by the fiscal officer, subject to audit.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
Next, I move to approve the annual description fee for iWorkQ Systems in the amount of $8,400 to be paid from Fund Line 1000-130-360. This is a new software program to organize and track better our zoning complaints, applications, and issues. Would that be a fair statement?
Very fair statement, that is correct.
And we will be evaluating its effectiveness this time next year.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
Mrs. Chapman, you have some matters that involve the police department.
I move to approve the payment to the City of Stowe in the amount of $4,100.77 to be paid from Fund 2081-210-360-1028 for fair share fees for Metro SWAT for 2023.
This is the annual
Yes.
contribution.
Yes.
I say we get a lot of service for that amount.
Yeah, we've already used it twice.
Yes.
I would second the motion.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
I move to approve payment in the amount of $7,800 to the Summit County Fiscal Officer and paid from Fund Line 2081-210-360 in the amount of $4,200 and Fund Line 2281-230-360-1017 in the amount of $3,600 for the first half 2023 maintenance and operation of Regional 8 megahertz radio system.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
I move to amend the motion 338-22. I move to approve the purchase from Atwell's Police and Fire Equipment in the amount of $21,171.50 for the purchase of handguns and accessories and paid from Fund Line 2221-760-790 in the amount of $20,271.50 and 2081-210-251 in the amount of $900. After qualification, our used equipment will be traded in for a total refund of approximately $7,500. To be amended to repurchase from Atwell's Police and Fire Equipment in the amount of $20,271.50 for the purchase of handguns and accessories and paid from Fund Line 2221-760-790 to Fund Line 2221-210-430. And Ted made a mistake last week, so we had to.
Yes, so I'd like to apologize for you having to read that whole fund line.
That's
a
a lot of-
typo on my part.
What happened to the $900?
I only had to amend one line, and all of it had to be reread for that final line. I apologize. That's my mistake for the week.
All right, I would second.
For the week?
Yeah, I want to give myself a chance.
You only got 1 day left.
And I'm off tomorrow.
I don't recall authorizing a quota per week.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro, you have some matters for the road department.
Yes, for the road department, I move to approve the purchase from Dexter Company in the amount of $73,685 to be paid from Fund Line 2031-760-790. This is the truck equipment package for the Western Star 4700 cab and chassis.
For the benefit of others, how, the truck essentially that we're replacing has been in service how long?
I believe it's like 21 years,
21
maybe
years.
22. Yes.
Okay.
So this is the same package we bought. We talked about this like 14 months ago, and it's gone up from roughly 57,000 to 73,000.
Okay.
So once this is done, we hope we can keep this truck for many years.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes. And I move to accept the annual highway system mileage certification for 2022 as reported by the Ohio Department of Transportation. The total certified mileage as of December 31st, 2022 was 70.796 miles.
I would second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
The last item on the agenda that we had is a matter that would take us into executive session. And so are there any matters that need to be brought before the board before we would do that? Okay.
I am Janie Carlini, a resident on West Parkway, and I just wanted to know, I know the ultrasound devices were removed in the late fall, and do we have an update for the residents on what the levels ended up to be? And part two of that question, has there been any lake health issues, good or bad, as a result? Do we know now?
Can
The
you
results
give a report that,
came in very promising. Some of the lowest levels that we've seen since we've actually shut the lake down, but still higher than what the EPA would allow us to take it off the level of their health alert advisory, whatever we're calling it. But as far as any other information to the lake, no, just other than we had that.
but the use of those devices gave us some encouragement, right?
Yes, they were it was positive, but I know we're want to work with Ohio State next year. They could not be a part of putting these in the lake this year. So hopefully next year we'll have Ohio State here as well, monitoring some of the things that we do, and hopefully be able to gather some more data from it.
So with their involvement, we may be able to be a little more specific about the benefit.
Correct.
Will they do additional study too, or not?
That I don't know. That's some of the detail I know that Tracy and I want to work out.
But when spring breaks, they'll go back in and they'll have...
Yeah, we'll get them in the water as soon as we can.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any other matter? If not, I'm going to move that the board go into executive session for purposes of discussing appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, and compensation of public employees, including reviewing negotiations of current bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation in terms of condition under negotiated agreements. The session will include the members of the Board of Trustees and the administrative assistant and other department heads when called upon by the board. That's my motion.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro?
Yes.
Okay. I don't anticipate a motion, or do we?
I don't know. I don't know the full extent of the thing. I don't believe there will be. I don't think there will be. I don't know.
Question is whether that may be a question best addressed to Mrs. Bell.
Yes.
At this point, we don't anticipate coming back into session and passing a motion.
If we have a tentative agreement, I don't think we have
We don't have to
to
motion.
make a motion for that. We can just act on it next meeting. So
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
we would be fine.
Okay,
Unless there's a need to act on something sooner, but I would think our next meeting should be fine.
okay, sounds good. All right,
You shut down, and I think you're gonna.